All right, we step forward and we are delighted with this question because we love very complex and abstract questions, but we will try to just set the foundations because that is, as you are all aware, very complex answers that you're requiring, which is asking to come outside of your framework of a 3D linear reality. So we need to set the foundations, and then others will step forward to build up on it. And we may not be able to finish today, but if you were to give you an analogy, and we have given this before, but there are a few new people in the group, of yourselves like a projector, as in a cinema screen projector. And imagine the light of the divine being your spirit, right? Being the light that shines through the projector. So as this light, your spirit, shines through the projector, basically entering your physical vessel, it will go through what you perceive as a frame, a static frame, right? As in your film strip. That you could see it as analogous to your ego mind, right? Your personality self in this specific body. Now, the divine light that you are, it's not this filter, right? In the same way that your higher self, your spirit self, it's not your physicality. This vessel's Fernanda, this is not who I am from the perspective that I'm speaking from, because me, the higher self of hers, let's say, is being projected as a light through many projectors. As this light gets projected through the film, basically your consciousness, your physical mind, the framework of this reality has been designed for you to, with your free will, which was discussed last week, choose frame by frame, static frames from this film. Now, because human beings choose with their free will millions of times a second, very similar frames, and this is processed through your consciousness, through this framework of this your physicality, you get the impression, the illusion, which is part of the design, of linearity, of space and time, of a movement, of a motion film, like you have in your cinema. But they are static frames, they are very similar, close one to another, and therefore when the light gets shown through this filter, this personality, this gets projected out, as was just mentioned by our other friend, in this reality. And that's your specific reality. That's how you perceive the world. That's how this divine light is experiencing the reality, because you're projecting this out. Now, this is one life, let's say, one linearity. How you choose these frames is how you're going to experience this lifetime, let's say. But this light is also being projected in many other consciousness at different levels. Let's not get into much detail. Just to say that there are many other realities happening in this exact moment where the story will be different, because that consciousness has chosen slightly different frameworks. And a good example is when people have spontaneous remissions or miracles happening to them, where they have chosen frameworks that are actually very different. So if you imagine yourself in the now moment, like in a sphere, rather than a linear past, present, and future, imagine yourself in a sphere, your consciousness is in the middle, and there are all these frames, static frames all around you. As consciousness, you can pick whichever one you want, but because of your physicality, your belief systems, you believe that you can't choose that and that and that, you tend to choose very similar ones. So there is a linearity. It feels like, you're moving through similar days and in similar life. When you do choose something very different, let's say your cancer disappears, or you have multiple personality disorders and your body behaves in a different way, whatever it may be, and we're giving these examples as these are scientific examples in your reality, because their frameworks are so different, they look like miraculous, but they are always present. They're always options. It's just that you're so conditioned to choose very similar things, you don't jump to something else very different. And that's why we say everything's happening now in this sphere. But because you're choosing things your conscious mind, that's the process, that's the software that you have, the framework for this reality, is choosing billions of times a second. It gives you a sense of motion, of linearity, of past, present, future. Now, once you have that, that means simplistically, there are parallel lives. There are many realities happening at once because this divine light is being expressed in many ways. And if someone is, let's say, a psychic, is sensitive, that person can connect with these different lines, and the one that has more energy, more momentum. If you have a snowball at the top of a mountain, if someone is sensitive enough, there is a tendency that you know that this is more likely to happen. They are all possible, but a few lines, a few lives, let's say, or events are more probable just because of your karmic, your choices, your agreements, your own belief systems. There is a tendency for you to choose that. In the same way that if you are walking on the street at this level, you may not be able to see it from your level as Steve, but your higher self on the top of a tower, it's very easy to see which route you're more likely to take to go from this milestone to that milestone, which street you're going to take. Your higher self knows. And so someone that's quite sensitive can connect with those different aspects of yourself, these multiple realities, and know, okay, this one, it's more likely, not that it has to happen because you're still choosing how to get there, but this one has a bit more energy for many reasons, and that's very specific to the situation and to the person. And we'll stop here because others want to contribute. Thank you.